G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back for some more Darkest Dungeon. However, this time, rather than part of my playthrough, I have for you guys a beginner's guide, and I want to talk about how to build yourself a cost-effective and strong roster of heroes. Now, the first thing to know about Darkest Dungeon is that this is not your typical RPG where you take one hero or a small party of heroes and try to make them as strong and powerful as possible. This game is kind of the soccer manager of RPGs, of roguelites. You have to effectively manage a roster of heroes, backup heroes, and backup heroes. I often refer to heroes as being part of my A team, or being part of my B team, or my C team, or my D team, or the guys who make their way to the graveyard, or who are sadly let go with no severance package. This game, heroes are disposable. There's a good reason why in this stagecoach you get a whole bunch of heroes each and every week. Now remember, your main goal in Darkest Dungeon is to build up your hamlet, to build up your town to its former glory. But heroes themselves, they're kind of just a means to an end. They're just a tool and should be treated as such. What do you do when a tool breaks? You throw it away. So the first thing I recommend when you start a new game in terms of like which buildings you want to upgrade is going to be the stagecoach. Now what you want to do is increase your stagecoach network so that you can increase the number of available heroes. You want to get as many heroes coming through each week so that you can take your pick of the specific hero classes you want, or sort of bolster out your roster a bit as other heroes kind of end up leaving your roster. Now upgrading your hero barracks is also a nice secondary goal that will allow you to sort of increase the bottom end of your roster a little bit further so you can start a bit of a higher turnover ratio. So the thing to keep in mind, guys, is don't be afraid to let go of heroes that have high stress, low level, and a large amount of negative traits, or some particularly bad negative traits. A powerful and cost-effective roster is created through a process of natural selection. The strongest rise to the top, and the weakest sort of fall off the end. So level 0 and level 1 heroes are a dime a dozen, essentially. You get these guys, just doing one quick dungeon gets them up to level 1. You shouldn't become attached to them at that point. So for example here, I pulled in a couple new Hellions recently and started working them up. I need to boost my Hellion count because they're a big and crucial sort of part of my party strategy. And Craze, this Hellion just here, sorry Craze is one of my Twitch mods, but bro, I'm probably gonna have to let you go because you are terrible and are gonna cost me a huge amount of money to redeem. Now I probably should have let Craze go a little bit earlier, because before, just recently, he was max stress and also had Syphilis, I believe, and on top of that has minus max HP and minus melee damage. As a Hellion, that's pretty useless really. That's like a whole bunch of negative stuff. Doesn't really have many redeeming factors, haven't invested anything in terms of skill upgrades or anything like that yet. Craze is a good example of a bad investment. De-stressing and removing negative traits like Syphilis and things from low-level heroes costs you thousands and thousands of gold, and it's going to take you a long time to recoup back those costs. So at this point, instead of trying to like spend thousands of gold trying to redeem Craze by removing his negative debuffs and investing in his skills and buying him upgraded gear, I'm far better off just letting Craze go. And this little button up here, dismiss hero, because next week there's a good chance there's like 1 or 2 more Hellions in the stagecoach. Especially as I get these upgrades, there's even more chances of getting more Hellions to replace Craze with. And maybe the next couple Hellions will grab a few nice positive traits, will perform much better, and will naturally get themselves up into level 2 and level 3, where I want to maybe start investing some gold in them. I mean, once the heroes rise to the top, once heroes have had a good enough run for a long enough time that they sort of rise to the top just here, like they've got a good list of positive quirks and they don't really have any negative quirks that affect them in combat, then these guys start becoming worth investing in. Someone like Punlock here has performed admirably and made himself part of my A team through dungeons and dungeons of hard work. He is worth investing in, he is worth upgrading the gear on, he is worth buying trinkets for, and he is worth removing Syphilis from. I keep mentioning Syphilis, and that's because there's been a rampant Syphilis problem in my party for some reason. Now guys, always remember that play these sorts of games the way you find most fun to play, but if you are trying to create a strong roster, and if you want to be a ruthless town manager, then this is the way to do it, to really keep in mind that idea of natural selection, and to sort of keep in the forefront of your mind is this particular low-level hero really worth the amount of gold I'll have to spend to redeem them? So guys, hopefully you find this helpful, and hopefully it helps in your darkest dungeon delving. That's it for now, I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.